now in the digital age, quite controversial. You know, what is a library? Is it more than just a collection of books? Is it a place? Is it somewhere to network, to study, to share ideas? This is a library in Troy. That's not Troy, Greece, or Sparta. That's Troy in Michigan, in the United States. And this won an award. It's a very interesting story for lots of reasons. Okay, so this is a little library in this town, and you might say, you know, you understand about recession and crisis, and we do in the UK as well. Even the Americans have had that, okay? This was an example of times being tough, and the little town of Troy didn't have enough money to keep the library going. So some of the town councillors and the local government said, well, this is an extravagance, we don't really need books these days, everyone's online, let's close the library, fire the people who run it, the librarians, and we'll save some money. Okay, are you already meeting this? Good. So, it's a city in Oakland County in Michigan, suburb of Detroit. They had to make cuts in personnel and city services because they just didn't have any money. So, the deal was the library was going to close unless the citizens would agree to pay more tax. Simple choice, okay? But not much more, not even 1% more, but it was a tax increase. They're already in a bad state, you know, some of them lost their jobs, business is tough, you know, no one's got any spare money. To ask them to pay more tax would be politically quite difficult for the town council. Anyway, they put it to a vote. The yes vote was for a tax increase, the no vote was no tax increase, the library has to close. Okay, so yes for the library, no against the library. This charming lady is Sarah Palin. That's a typical photograph. We did choose one when she was snarling, to be honest. Looking particularly right-wing and anti-library, basically. She's darling of the anti-tax Tea Party group. They're pretty slick. You know, a lot of right-wing Republicans in the US can make things happen, okay? And the Tea Party are well-resourced and well-connected, and they're pretty class act. So they're a dangerous opponent for the library. High profile, well-funded, they urge people to vote no. The library needed to fight back against the evil Sarah and her colleagues, okay? They wanted to make people think about the consequences of no. Do you realise what you will be doing if you say no, I'm not even paying 0.7% more tax? Do you know what's going to happen? Creative idea. A vote against the library is like a vote to burn books. Okay, a bit of a leap of imagination here, but stay with it. They created this idea of burning books. Do you know that's what you're going to be doing if you vote no? Using reverse psychology, they posed as a political group. They pretended to be in favour of closing the library. So they posted signs around the whole town that said, vote to close Troy Library, August 2nd, book burning party, August 5th. Hey, we'll burn all those books. Quite provocative, and that was the intention. Facebook page, /book burning party. Okay, and the signs led to a Facebook page, which looked like this. Beautiful picture of books going up in flames. Opportunity of life. Look at some of the comments that they got. You can read it, you people are sick. Bust the book burning party. Vote yes. This is disgusting, etc., etc. That was the idea. They're trying to stir it up, okay? Actually, I think it's quite dangerous because Americans, when angry, are not very nice. And if anyone had found out who were the book-burning people, I wouldn't be very confident about their safety. The outraged comments spilled over into a fierce debate on Twitter. Troy suggests a book-burning party. Disgusted. And of course, in social media, you always get weirdos. Not only in America, but particularly there, maybe. I had a book-burning party once, not smart, I wouldn't shit. What can you do? But on the whole, they got this thing into the public debate, and they stoked the fire by posting videos of burning books. They're really stirring it up, aren't they? And they offered souvenir items. See the irony? To drive engagement, they added Foursquare, online classified ads, flyers, etc. And I think eventually they decided, okay, this has gone far enough now, we've got to explain that we're not really in favour of closing the library and burning books. So then they came out and said, okay, vote against the library is like a vote to burn books, so vote yes. Okay, but they kind of showed their hand then. But by that they brought this debate into the public domain.
There once was a library, a beautiful, busy, award-winning library. Unfortunately, times were hard. The city of Troy, Michigan no longer had enough money for its library, so it scheduled a vote asking the townspeople to approve a small tax increase. This angered an anti-tax group known as the Tea Party. Well-organized and well-funded, they started posting vote no signs, mailing flyers, and making noise. They dominated the conversation, changing the topic from library, books, and reading to taxes, taxes, taxes. With no money and an election less than a month away, the library needed help. They needed something attention-getting, audacious, maybe even vile. So we decided to form a group of our own and started planting signs around town that said, vote to close the library August 2nd, book burning party August 5th. The idea of book burning is bad enough, but gleefully making it a party, well, that angered people enough to send them to our Facebook page.
You people are sick. This is disgusting. Reject the wackos. Vote yes.
But we didn't stop there. We created videos.
Imagine this times 200,000. How cool is that?
Posted on Twitter.
The Troy Library might be short on money, but it has books to burn.
Created items for sale.
A book bag. How ironic.
We placed newspaper ads, created check-ins, posted flyers, and lined up entertainment.
You guys are booking a band?
People became enraged.
Why would you burn books, idiots?
This is horrible.
Cheap imbeciles.
What the is this world coming
You
to?
should burn your signs instead.
Total
This is
idiots.
really
Jerks.
They posted their own links, shared with friends, debated the merits of libraries and the audacity of burning books. The conversation spread from Facebook to city council meetings, from newspapers to TV. It grew from local to national, even international news. Once it reached a fevered pitch, we revealed the true intent of our campaign. A vote against the library is like a vote to burn books. And people started posting, tweeting, and reporting all over again. In the end, we had changed the conversation completely, from taxes, 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 to library, library, library. And on August 2nd, the yes voters, voters who don't normally turn out to vote, turned out at levels 342% greater than projected. And the library won by a landslide. The town's library, its beautiful, award-winning library, had been saved. Not every story at the library has a happy ending. Fortunately, this one did.
So, a great story and a pretty interesting campaign. Can I ask how many people work for an agency? Okay, 1 or 2, we're in a minority. All the other agencies are hard working, can't afford time out of the office. Have you ever run an award agency, people? Yeah, lots. Okay. Can you imagine it would be good fun and it would be good for business and help to attract new people? Right. So the question is, what would an agency do to win an award? And the answer is quite a lot, because it's very good and it's good for business. So the question is, did they maybe do too much? So let's just go into that in a minute. In terms of results, on the face of it, really good. Voters turned out en masse to save the library. It won by a landslide, and kids can still enjoy summer reading programs. The unemployed still have job training resources. The senior citizens still have access to computers, etc. What can we take out of this? Well, it was a big idea, wasn't it? Not an expensive one, just a good creative idea, which for me have always been really, really important, because it's something that grabs people's attention and their imagination. It's not about the media that delivered it, it's about the central idea. An emotional connection. You know, we all learned when we were kids not to write it in books, not to rip pages out. And probably we would think that burning it was not a good thing either, because our mum or dad wouldn't be very happy. So, you know, it seems like a very bad thing to burn books. And, you know, like iconoclastic, like very bad. So they touch on this emotional connection to win hearts and minds. And I'm glad to say there's still a place for libraries in the digital age. And the ethical jury who gave it the award said it's a combination of traditional and digital media plus staggering results trumped the competition, in other words, beat them. More than that, it was a brilliantly simple idea that struck an emotional chord. But the client said, Nothing to do with us. We never commissioned this work. We don't quite know why this appeared. These things just sprung up. We don't know who's responsible for them. So basically the city of Troy had no association with it. We didn't have any knowledge of it, nor in the library, nor the friends of the library. Was it just a self-promotional campaign by Leo Bennett to Troy? Panda, you've got a bit of insight on this one. You've studied it.
Okay, hello from my side as well. Actually, I was a member of the EPIC, a jury that gave an award to this campaign last year, and we didn't have any idea that this campaign was actually not approved by a client. But this caused a lot of scandals in the US, and basically after that, the award shows are paying much more attention to the campaigns and always try to prove that the client also approved the campaign. So this was, in that sense, also a great case study. It saved the library, but on the other hand, it may have saved the awards industry as well, because it showed clearly that there are some problems with the judging.
And that's always been one of the issues with awards. You know, the agency is so desperate to win. Sometimes the suggestion that this ad only ran once wasn't a genuine piece of marketing communication. And the jurors then said, uh-oh, we would never have given it the award if we had known this. So it didn't look that good for the agency, but I'm not here to point any fingers and blame. You could say, well, you know, it had a good end result because the library got saved. Let's keep going if we may. Andrea is going to talk about Samsung and Swisscom.
Yes, so I will cover this case study for you. It was a winner of German digital awards last month, DMA Online Awards, although the campaign itself happened in Switzerland. So Swisscom is a major telecom operator in Switzerland, and obviously Samsung is a handset maker from Korea. This is their headquarters building in Seoul. Actually, they even have a subway station, metro station in Seoul named after Samsung, so they are huge there. And they joined forces to launch this beautiful telephone. Maybe somebody has it. Can you raise your hand if you have Samsung S4 telephone? Nobody? Okay.
We want one though.
Yeah, maybe this case study works also as an advertisement for this campaign. Anyway, it worked well in Switzerland. This phone has a unique eye tracking technology. Basically, it means that when you look at the phone, when you look at the screen of the phone, you can navigate with your eyes. So basically, the phone looks back at you and monitors your eyes, and you don't need to use your fingers, so you can actually, with your eyes, control the phone. I don't know how it's possible, but it works. And as we obviously know, the market for smartphones is very crowded. iPhone is big, HTC, other manufacturers. So even for Samsung, who is big, it was a very difficult task to launch a new phone. And the task was to create the buzz around this new phone and leverage earned media, meaning that they wanted to create a viral effect out of this campaign. So Samsung and Swisscom joined forces to launch this phone, and they wanted to create a noise around, to create a buzz around this phone, and the project called All Eyes on S4 was launched. What they did was that they placed inside the city light poster in 4 different railway stations in Switzerland a special technology that people were invited, the bypassers and everybody who was there were invited to take part of the competition, and the award of course was a new S4 phone. And the idea of the competition was that people had to stare to look fixed at the billboard for 1 hour, 60 minutes. And as if the phone was looking back to their eyes, they had to keep their eyes on one spot. And if they actually looked for somewhere else, then they lost the game. So they really had to focus on that particular spot on the poster. And of course, a lot of people were around There was many other activities happening, distractions, so it was not so easy. Actually, the idea of the game was to make it very difficult for people to stare at the billboard. So there were every kind of distractions, motorcycle crash, people shouting at each other, even dogs barking, all kind of distractions. And there was also a live stream on YouTube, so people who were not taking part of the actual game on the railway station could watch it via YouTube, and they could even communicate with the people who were playing. So for example, if somebody was staring at the screen, you could type a message that your girlfriend is cheating you right now or something, or your house is on fire. So people are really, you know, were distracted by different things. And this event was advertised on other media as well, including banners on main news sites. And the campaign was targeted to Switzerland only because Swisscom operates in Swiss territory. But since it's become a viral hit, it also reached many other countries around the world. And this is the case film. It shows how it all happened. Okay, this happened in Switzerland, otherwise not a very exciting country, so this was one of the biggest events they had this year in May. Well, the results were amazing. They got over 4 million YouTube views, a lot of shares and likes on YouTube, and a lot of interactions on that microsite. Also, the campaign reached 1 in every 3 Swiss, actually 33% of Swiss population was reached, so this is a very, very high level for a viral campaign. And of course, few people also were taking part of the game and saw it live, but most of the audience was reached by a viral video, of course. And globally, all kind of international websites also picked this story up, including Huffington Post in the US. And when I interviewed the guys at Heimat agency in Berlin who were behind this campaign, then I asked, like, you do a campaign for a Swiss market only, so why you're so happy about Huffington Post in the US picking this up? Because, you know, Swisscom does not operate in the US. And he told a really interesting thing to me, because first, it's impossible to limit a viral campaign. If you do a viral video, it may be watched everywhere in the world outside of your home territory. But the guy from Heimat said that the fact that in the US this became a piece of news in the media actually was good for a Swiss market, because Swiss people felt proud of it. They felt proud that the campaign from their country has such kind of international effect. And actually it was again then covered in Swiss media, being proud that Swiss campaign was big also in the US. So it has a certain effect also within your main market that internationally the viral video becomes a hit. So it was really successful in that sense. This international viral effect helped to reach Swiss target even more. And the key learnings when I talked to the guy, Miles Lord, who's the agency creative officer in Berlin, he said that although it was a digital product, Swisscom telecom operator and the phone, the campaign, if it would have been only a digital campaign without a live event, then it would have been too dry or not enough emotional. So the fact that they had this live event on railway stations created this necessary emotional element, and then again it helped it spread virally. So he said that the secret of success of this campaign is a really good combination of this live emotional event and a good viral effect. So each of these things alone would not have worked well enough. So this was a campaign from Germany and Switzerland from May this year. Thank you. Back to you, Mike.
Thank you. And of course what we are seeing already is that there are very few case studies which are pure SEO or mobile or email or online display. You know, already that was an offline event promoted via film which went crazy on YouTube, but it was primarily experiential marketing. Okay, well here's another one that maybe has similar on and offline elements. IKEA is a shop. We all know IKEA, the world's largest furniture retailer, 332 stores in 38 countries. This one is from Norway, okay? The town of Bergen in Norway. They've been there for 30 years, and basically they decided that the current store wasn't good enough, wasn't big enough, and they couldn't extend it. They wanted to tear it down and build a new one. That's what IKEA does. So in 2012, they decided to move to a brand new store, which was actually very close. So they had the land, they just wanted to open a bigger store with all the latest technology and better able to serve their customers, only 300 meters away. So they wanted to do a store launch. And you know, this can be kind of a routine, boring thing. How do we open a store? You know, IKEA has a lot of experience. But they did something they'd never done before. They wanted to get the people of Bergen to show up at the new store and attract media. And sometimes they do one thing in one channel and it attracts a lot of earned media. In other words, the journalists, the news editors, the PR people get excited and then they're giving you impetus for free. You can harness that. That's very powerful. You know, that's what PR has always been about. This was the idea, and as very often today, to me it's the idea that leads it. Someone thought of this. And then the rest of it was just brilliant execution. They wanted to ask IKEA's friends and neighbours to help